The Psyche of Success, the video blog that helps you reach the next level. Education, entertainment, and motivation to help you and your team succeed in business and in life. Subscribe, share, and learn. Welcome to the Psyche of Success with your host, Jody Holland.
Hey guys, Jody Holland with the Psyche of Success video blog. Going to talk to you today a little bit about employee motivation. Dan Ariely, in his book, The Upside of Irrationality, talks about the fact that we often try to do motivation based on antiquated models. Motivation itself has to be based on creating an intrinsic desire to move forward. Frederick Herzberg came up with his two-factor theory, which basically said there are satisfiers and there are dissatisfiers with the way that we're motivated. The satisfiers are the things that are intrinsic or internal to us. That's autonomy, mastery, and purpose, according to Dan Pink. Herzberg talked about the job content, or the satisfaction that we get from actually doing the job, feeling like we have a sense of purpose, and serving something greater than us. He also talked about the extrinsic factors, or the things that are outside of us. One of those extrinsic factors is money. So we're not motivated by money itself, we're only motivated by what money represents to us. He also was very cautious to make sure and outline that we're motivated by making sure we have enough money, but once you reach a certain threshold, money no longer provides any real value. That threshold can be different for different people. In other words, I'm not going to go do work for free because I know it has value that I'm providing. So it's the value that I need to be validated for that the money represents. The same thing is true for pretty much anyone. Let's say that you go to work in a job and you believe that you have a value of $50,000 a year. If someone says, look, I want you to go to work for me, but I'm going to offer you $30,000 a year instead of $50,000. You're desperate, you take the job, but in your mind, you're always thinking, I know I'm worth $50,000 a year. What Herzberg said in his two-factor theory is that when you don't provide at that right level, it actually takes away motivation. But if you know that you're worth $50,000 a year and they offer you $50,000, great, you're set. When they give you a $5,000 bump, it doesn't actually increase productivity. If you were to have a $5,000 decrease, it would decrease productivity. So things like company policy, the way that you're supervised, things like that, when it's done right, then you can focus on the internal factors or the satisfiers. When it's not done right, all you seem to focus on is what's being done wrong. So a satisfier increases motivation, a dissatisfier decreases motivation. So you look at it from those two angles. You've got to take care of the dissatisfiers so that they don't mess with your motivation. Then you add on the satisfiers, which increase your motivation. The satisfiers that you really need to focus on are creating the right culture within your organization, finding a way to create purpose for the person who's doing the job, giving each of the people that work for you the chance to advance themselves and to master something that matters to them. So if you focus on creating that right culture, creating those right opportunities, giving people a chance to succeed, what you'll find is they'll work their tails off as long as you're not going out of your way to make it about money and about other things. Interestingly, in Ariely's book, The Upside of Irrationality, he talks about the fact that we so often do incentives the wrong way. That chapter on incentives was really eye-opening. Because most organizations are going through and they're doing things like, okay, I'm going to do a retention incentive. If you'll agree to stay, then after 6 months, after 1 year, whatever the length is, we'll give you this extra money. Ariely says that anytime you add an if-then statement, you're actually going to get a negative net result, going back to Herzberg's dissatisfier component. So focus on creating opportunity for them, and when you incentivize, it is now that you have done this, here's some extra money. As long as your bonus structure is always based on now that, you will not ever tap into the dissatisfiers. Because you're not saying, if you will do this, then we'll give you that. It's now that you've done this, here's a little extra more. When you do it from that perspective, the money represents additional value that you've provided, and it represents, I appreciate you, I value you, I want you here. If you set it up with if then, even though I know you're thinking in your mind as an executive, but I'm at full exposure if I give them money and I don't require anything in return. If you do that, you will consistently get a net negative result, and you will reduce your retention, not increase it. So you always have to step back and ask yourself, what is the point of doing this? If you know what your point is, then do it for the right reason. Don't just follow the old thinking methodology. Look at what the actual net negative result will be and follow that manner. So I just want to encourage you guys, look a little bit into Herzberg's two-factor theory. If you've not read the book by Dan Ariely, The Upside of Irrationality, it is a phenomenal book. I think you'll really enjoy it. But take this information and start applying from a motivational standpoint. If you want to motivate your people, create a great culture, develop their potential, give them the chance to do something that they're really, really good at, and consistently show value in what they've done, show appreciation. Make it now that statements for your rewards. Do not make it if then statements. I'm Jody Holland with the Psyche of Success. We'll see you next time.